Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're bringing you a breakdown of a viral micro moment that just perfectly captures the absolute essence of motivation and visual storytelling. You know, we spend so much time on this show analyzing complex data and heavy research, but sometimes the most profound lessons on human resilience come wrapped in just a few seconds of internet gold. We're going to dissect exactly why a specific piece of content from the channel Eyes Are Short Fitness completely caught the world's attention. But before we get into the breakdown, I want you to ask yourself, what does a true bodybuilder actually look like? Hooking into this idea is absolutely crucial, because normally your mind immediately goes to these massive, hulking figures lifting hundreds of pounds, right? Veins popping, intense expressions, just sheer physical dominance. Well, we are going to completely challenge those preconceptions of strength today. The hero of our explainer is totally unexpected, yet he embodies the pure spirit of bodybuilding better than almost anyone else you'll see online. All right, Section 1. The Naya Bodybuilder, a visual masterclass. Let's dive right into the emotional hook of this story.
The emotional core is established instantly in the very first frame. We see our unexpected hero, an 8-year-old boy, standing right in front of a mirror, looking critically at his own skinny arms, and it's accompanied by this voiceover sentiment, "They laughed at me." It establishes this profound, deep vulnerability before his physical journey even begins. I mean, we've all felt that, right? That feeling of inadequacy, of being judged or underestimated. The mirror acts as the ultimate symbol of self-reflection and the spark for change.
Which brings us to Section 2. Welcome to the hood, entering the gym. So, our young hero refuses to stay defeated. That vulnerability? It was just the setup. He confidently marches into the daunting, chaotic environment of a local gym. For an 8-year-old, a gym filled with clanking metal and towering adults is essentially a coliseum. But listen to how the audio shapes this moment. The source audio from the Izhar Short Fitness channel booms out with this massive swagger. "Ooh, yo, what's up my gang? Welcome to Hood." This intense, bravado-filled greeting brilliantly contrasts with the visual of a small, vulnerable kid entering the space. It tells us that despite his size, his mindset is massive. He is claiming the space. Moving on to Section 3. Facing the iron, testing his resolve. The swagger is definitely there, but as he begins to survey the tools of the trade, the physical reality of the room immediately tests him. He looks around, and you can practically read the thought bubble popping up over his head. Wait, people lift this? The camera uses this brilliant juxtaposition of his tiny physical size against these intimidating, massive iron weights. The dumbbells are literally half his size. It's a fantastic visual metaphor for those massive goals we set for ourselves, and that initial shock when we realize just how heavy the work is actually going to be. Now, here is where the intelligent pacing of the narrative really shines. A trainer intervenes. He recognizes the kid's ambition, but also his reality. Instead of letting him try to heave those massive dumbbells and inevitably getting hurt, the trainer gives him scaled, foundational exercises. Step 1, push-ups. Step 2, jumping. It's this beautifully grounded moment showing that real growth requires starting with the basics, rather than jumping straight to the heavy lifting. Okay, Section 4. Struggle and recover, building willpower. True motivation, the kind that actually inspires people, requires showing the physical struggle. If the boy just effortlessly crushed these exercises, it'd feel fake. It wouldn't resonate. We actually need to see the friction, and we do. He struggles with the light exercises initially. He fails once. This provides an incredibly honest look at the difficulty of starting something completely new. Even basic foundational movements are incredibly hard when you're a beginner. But that failure is just momentary. With pure determination radiating from him, he immediately gets back to the push-ups and the jumps. He tries again. This right here is the heartbeat of the entire story. It's not about the muscle on his arms, it's about the muscle of his willpower. He is demonstrating the very essence of bodybuilding, which is literally building yourself back up every time gravity pulls you down. The narrative then escalates as he takes on the treadmill. We've seen him tackle strength, and now he's pushing his cardiovascular limits. The treadmill introduces this mechanical, moving element to his environment. It requires rhythm, it requires focus, and it takes his training montage to a whole new level of intensity. But then, the pace kind of gets the better of him. There's a sudden slip. Honestly, it injects a perfect bit of warmth and humor into the moment as he almost completely loses his footing. It's a universally relatable, slightly chaotic moment. I mean, who hasn't felt that terrifying second of weightlessness when the treadmill is moving just a little bit too fast for your legs? It humanizes him completely. And this brilliantly illustrates his resilience. He doesn't go flying off the back of the machine. He catches himself, stabilizes his footing, and just keeps running. He takes a potentially comedic, embarrassing slip and turns it into a triumphant victory. It's a micro moment that perfectly encapsulates the whole never give up mentality. Which leads us to our final section, Part 5, Viral Motivation, Digital Storytelling. Let's take a step back. Why does this specific combination of visuals and audio resonate so globally? Well, let's break down the actual YouTube metadata from the source. The creator used a very specific combination of tags: #VillageDesi, #StandMan, #TrendPost, #motivation, and #exercise, paired with a crying emoji and a globe emoji. That crying emoji perfectly signals the vulnerability we talked about earlier, while tags like #VillageDesi tap into this grassroots pride. It frames the whole thing within the universal underdog trope, connecting humble beginnings to a global audience. Let's also look at the title itself, calling him a Naya bodybuilder, where Naya, as an adjective meaning new or a fresh start, is just profound. It frames him not by his current strength or size, but by his courage to start the journey. The internet doesn't rally behind him because he's the strongest in the gym. They rally behind him because he's brave enough to be the weakest in the gym and try anyway. That is what a Naya bodybuilder truly is. So, to summarize the journey we've unpacked today, you start with deep vulnerability. Throw the character into an intimidating environment, add a dash of comedic relief with a slip-up, and tie the whole shebang together with sheer willpower. That is the ultimate recipe for compelling viral motivation. It's basically a micro-hero's journey distilled into just a few seconds. I want to leave you with this thought as we wrap up our explainer today. We've seen the anatomy of motivation visually decoded. So, I have to ask, if an 8-year-old boy can step into an intimidating gym, look at those massive heavy weights, embrace the foundational work, and instantly recover from a stumble on the treadmill, what is stopping you from starting your journey today? Thanks so much for joining me. Keep learning, and I'll see you in the next one.